right. I guess I am live. I just wanted to share something real quick. I know I mentioned this to people on my feed, maybe on a live video or maybe on my story, but I have a daily task scorecard that I've been using. And let me make sure that I'm sharing my screen through Zoom so you guys can see. Share screen. Cool. So if you're looking at this, hopefully you can see my screen, but this has been a tool. It's pretty simple. I mean, I've made a million of these things. If you look at all these different things, KPIs, all these different tabs at the top, I've got KPIs, must do, journals, my calendar, my email, different kinds of folders and files and tracking tools. And so this is not the first tool that I've made to track stuff, but I wanted to share something that I thought through. I got this idea from a podcast where the guy talked about having a daily scorecard specifically for real estate, but you can do this for anything depending on what your goals are. And basically, you get a certain amount of points if you get a property under contract. You get a certain amount of points if you get an appointment to talk to someone about listing their house or helping them buy a house, different types of things, right? So these are the things that I decided were important to me based on what I want to do. And I've actually shared this template. I was pleasantly surprised, and I'm not just making this up. Like at first, I don't know why I always doubt that people want to use tools that I have, but like at least 10 or 11 people reached out asking for a copy of it, and they were excited to use it. And one guy who I don't even know who listens to me, my podcast, or follows me on Instagram, he actually screenshotted him using it, and he updated the template with his own goals, and he tagged me in his story on Instagram. So I'm like, whoa, that's cool. Like, he followed me on Instagram or through my podcast. He saw that, he requested it, I sent it, and he's using it. And he had slightly different goals than me, but it was really cool to see someone finding it valuable. But the idea here, and this is specifically for like entrepreneurial people or salespeople, if you have a day job, you may also be able to use this and implement it with your own goals. But like, I didn't have anyone telling me, what do I do? What do I focus on? What direction do I go in? And so I kind of thought through, what do I think are the most important things that move the needle for me right now in my business and in my life and with my podcast? And so these are the things that I came up with, and I'm really only tracking during the weekdays. Anything that I do on the weekends are kind of bonus. It's funny because I'm like the realtor who doesn't really do a whole lot. Like, I haven't been doing open houses or anything on the weekends. Not that I don't do a lot, but on the weekends, I've been spending more time for myself. And if clients want to see houses, or, if there's a listing that needs an open house, I'm happy to put someone out there, but I haven't been tracking these daily metrics, or more for my work weekdays. So you can see here on the second, I hide the previous things, and I just started this last week. I do use other tracking tools as well, but yesterday, my goal is to get 5 points. And these are the things that I've determined are most important for my business right now. So I have an executed contract is 3 points. Coffee, lunch, or Zoom meeting is 2 points. I did one of those yesterday rather. And then I had a social media post yesterday and a podcast interview yesterday. I was on someone else's podcast. So I came up a little short, and I was busy. If you follow my story, you saw that I stopped by to take pictures of a house in Kingwood that I'm about to list. And then I drove over to the Richmond area, had to pick up a key, met up with one client to grab the key for a lease listing, drove over to that house, stopped at Home Depot to pick up a combination lockbox. So I'm not coming up with excuses. I'm just saying I was on the road a lot yesterday, and it got to the end of the day, and I was just like, hey, I'm satisfied with the amount of stuff that I did today. Plus I knocked these things out. I'm okay if this tracker okay, I'm not okay with it. I'm upset. I don't want it to be a -1. But in any case, I could have done one more thing. Like, if I had done one more social media post, this would have turned green, right? I would have knocked out my 5 points, but I'm not going to lie. I'm going to show you that I only had 4 for yesterday. And then for today, looky here, I count Facebook Live as 2 points. And since I'm doing that right now, which technically I guess it's Zoom Live, but I'm pushing it to Facebook, that takes me to 6 points for today. So I'm actually meeting my goal, or exceeding my goal, actually. So I did a Facebook Live. I did 2 social media posts. I did 30 social media engagements where I'm like commenting on people's stuff and saying hello and saying happy birthday and all that stuff, because I care about my friends and I want to take time to connect with them. And then I just got off of a 1-hour podcast interview. I interviewed someone on my show, and I'm going to get on his show in the next week or two. I don't know if there's a way to see comments or anything. If anyone's on Facebook Live, I'm sorry. If you're commenting, I can't see it through Zoom. but hopefully you find this valuable and you might take something away from it. But yeah, this is the template I've been using. I do have a file in Excel. If you're interested in that, I can send that over to you. Again, I've sent it to like 10 or 11 people, but these are the things that I think are most important based on what I want to focus on. Execute a contract, that's 3 points for me. Coffee, lunch, or Zoom meeting, I get to connect with people. Maybe I meet with investors who may turn into clients later or send me referrals. I'm counting that as 2. And then buyer or listing consultation, 2. Facebook Live, 2. 1 hour of learning is 1 point. 1 social media post is 1 point. 30 social media engagements is 1 point. Email blast to my list is 1. And podcast interview is another. And so as long as I'm doing 5 points total, even if it's not the same thing every day, these are the things that I've kind of attributed to moving the needle. A lot of my business and leads have come as a response to my social media stories or my posts or my videos that I've been putting out, even from people that I've interviewed on my podcast that have turned into clients, which is pretty awesome. Not to mention the referrals that have come from that. So other realtors may have something like call for 2 hours or call expired listings or call 100 people or whatever it is that they track. You can update this however it is you want. But for me, based on the business that I like, based on the stuff that I like to do, these are the things that I'm focusing on, right? Developing relationships, putting out content for people, making a bunch of podcast interviews. And on my whiteboard, which is off to the side over here, my main actions that I want to focus on top of these things that I think move the needle, the things that I actually enjoy doing are meeting with people in person and also doing Zoom interviews for my podcast, because I learn a lot. I connect with successful people from across the world that might do things differently than me. I can ask questions in real time that I'm having with my business or mindset and learn nuggets specific to what I'm needing in my life. And of course, my audience finds value in that too. My podcast numbers are growing. I mean, I don't mind sharing, like, well, I guess I shouldn't because it has like my email address. Okay, whatever. I'm going to show it to y'all. I don't really use that email very much anyway. But if you can still see my screen, my podcast, like I'm getting really cool spikes. Like here was 2814 downloads. That was my highest so far on the 28th of September. My new high in a single day is freaking little bump. Okay. 4,269 downloads on October 30th in a single day. And you can see from September, I had 41,000 downloads. It's jumped up to 49,000 and it's only going to keep on growing. My total all-time downloads, 794,000. And so that's really cool. And just seeing those numbers motivates me even more to go harder, put out more content, connect with more people, add more value to people's lives. So honestly, let's see, podcast interview, I might need to start adding points to that because it really is worth more than just 1 point, especially if I'm spending an hour talking to someone. Maybe it should be 2 points, but I mean, that's not the point. The point is that I'm actually tracking and I'm using a daily scorecard. And so if you think this is valuable, shoot me a DM. Let me know what your email address is. I'll send it over to you, or just DM me saying you'd like a copy of it. Again, I have it in Excel format, but the thing here is that I'm tracking things that I think are important, because one frustrating thing with real estate is I could do all these things. I can do all this business development, lead generation, and I don't know when it's going to necessarily pay off, right? Am I going to get a lead today? Is someone going to hit me up in 3 months or next year? I don't know. All I can do is control the inputs and the things that I actually think are important. And of course, all the value that I put out and all the relationships that I make and the connections that I have and the coffee meetings, it's all going to lead to something. People are going to call me. People are going to message me when they need help. They're going to send me amazing guests to interview on my podcast. I'm going to get introductions to talk on other people's podcasts, and the wheel of value will just kind of circle like that, where I add value to others. They add value to me. We all help each other out. Everybody's one big, happy, value adding family. And so that's all I wanted to talk about today. I know I chimed on, or I talked about this the other day briefly, but I wanted to share my screen so you guys could see what exactly I've been tracking. And then the simple thing is, like what I do here, I will just copy this and then paste it down. And okay, yeah, I have a little formula where even the date updates. It's just that plus 1. So tomorrow would be a fresh start. And I'm already starting off, like I can see the red, knowing, hey, I've got 5 points to earn to win the day. So already tomorrow, I'm like, what, I can't do anything today that I can count to tomorrow because that counts for today, right? So I won the day today, and I guess I could overachieve and do more here. But like, I want to be able to say, if I finish all this stuff by 11 a.m. and I want to call it a day, I should be able to do that without feeling guilty anymore, because there's always something you can still do. And I can kind of be like, all right, tomorrow's a new day. I'm going to move the needle again, and we can go from there. And another thing to note is, if you do something and you accomplish something on a certain day, even if it changes later on, give yourself those points. So an example, on Friday, I'm just going to use this on the 4th as an example. I had an executed contract and I did a Zoom meeting. So I had my 5 points for the day. I got the executed contract like at the end of the day at 8 p.m. And unfortunately, at the end of the 3 days, my buyer ended up terminating because, the HOA had some rules that we couldn't agree on for what he was needing to do with the property. So we did terminate, but I didn't erase those points. I still count it, because the more executed contracts we get, the more offers we make, the more deals I'm going to end up helping people close. And as a byproduct, I of course make the commission off of that. So it's just a numbers game, right? The more free throws you take, the more you'll make. I heard some awesome quote as well about how many shots Michael Jordan had taken, and people didn't count the number of times he missed. They cared about the times he made it. And so, yeah, that's just my tool here. I'm calling it Daily Task Scorecard. And again, I've got all kinds of things. My 2020 daily tasks, my must-do list, Asana, my journals, all kinds of things. So if you guys have any tips, tricks, how to improve this, please comment on the Facebook live video or let me know. And maybe we can even do a brainstorming session, because I'm always looking at tweaking things and making things better. And am I missing anything I should be tracking? I don't know. So yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about today. Let me stop sharing my screen. And that is basically it for today. So hope everyone's doing well. Hope you're all having a great week. And I will be in touch with you soon if anyone wants to do a Zoom call or get coffee or lunch and help me get those points. But for real, I really do want to connect with people. And half the time I don't even know how we can help each other, but I'm just open to connecting and hanging out and, going on random walks and like stuff with my dog. Like, I've been really in this place of like meditating, spending a lot of thinking time, journaling, hanging out with people, having my phone face down when I'm getting coffee or lunch with someone for a full hour without worrying about, the fires on my phone that are not real fires, that kind of thing. I don't know if anyone's relating with me. Please let me know. Or am I just kind of on this other level of being too much of like the monk mindedness, where I'm just letting everything happen as it may. But yeah, in any case, I'll talk to you all later. Have a great rest of your day. I'm going to go on a little walk with my dog without my phone, and maybe I'll take my journal and sit down somewhere and see if I have any amazing eureka moments on some of the problems that I'm working through right now in my business and in my life. So talk to you all soon.